group was formed 2 weeks ago because we got notification that Xstrata was planning to put a shaft up in Inner Street. They purchased 5 acres of land up at the end of Inner Street. It was finalised on the 16th of December. The neighbours in Inner Street or Darley Street weren't informed about what was going on. The first that anyone knew about that was anything was happening up at the end of the street, the residents in Inner Street had the noise. They asked up the street what was going on. They were told all they were doing was drilling up there to see if there was more coal in underneath and exploratory. They'd be gone in a couple of weeks. The noise continued. Those residents complained. They found out they had some information to sign to say that after that it had started, that they were signing away. Some of those residents refused to sign that. They said, you've already been working up there for 2 weeks. We're not signing those documents. That was very intermittent. Not everyone in Inner Street got the letter, nor did everyone in Inner Street get that, Darley Street get that letter. After that, we found out they were already at the council making a submission, virtually the same day. We then received in the mail, only Inner Street and Darley Street, an information sheet, which is the sheet you've got with the map and the plan on it. That map was told us about to come to the hall in 2 days' time, and they'd explain to us what was going on. That was very poor, right, because it was spread over 6 hours and it was only two streets. We were told the other night that there was put in the paper, but in the paper it only said Thirlmere, Bargo, Buxton, Thirlmere, come to Thirlmere Hall, and about major projects that were going to be upcoming. So it didn't say anything for Thirlmere residents about a shaft. So basically that's where we are at the moment. So we've sort of got this together pretty quick to try and inform people what was going on. Now I'd like to welcome a few of the people who have come to talk, can you still hear me, can talk tonight. It's Jai Rowell, the Liberal member, explained the government processes, assuming all of the council is bypassed by Xstrata and has it assessed as a development of state significance. Helen Hennessy, one of the acting managers of the Queen Victoria, which was Queen Victoria Hospitals, is now Queen Victoria Gardens, speaking on behalf of Queen Victoria Hospital. Christine Towndrone from RSL, that will add on to Helen Hennessy's if anyone else wants to know what's going on there. Michael Williams, he's a retired electrical fitting mechanic with over 40 years experience in the mining industry. He's going to give you some straight facts. David Hunt, civil and structural engineer, to let you know what's going on with this mine subsidence. Ian Shepherd, Thirlmere Colliery, Ian Shepherd, Thirlmere Colliery, Environment and Community Manager, and Peter Vale, Operations Manager of Thirlmere Colliery. Kate Fairman, Greens member for the Legislative Council. Now what we're going to do, we're going to have the room sort of virtually divided into 4. So if the spotters could come down into those corners now. We've got 4 spotters, which is Greg Fairley up in the top corner. We've got John Potter down in this bottom corner, Eddie down in this corner, and Tup Davis up in the top corner. Now we're dividing that sort of virtually into sections so that we don't have 1,000,001 questions from the floor, so we can move through. People don't want to be here for 4 hours or so. So what they will do, when you've got a question, put your hand up, they will point to you and that's who will answer that question. At the end of the evening, we'll have an open forum so everyone can have their say. But this way, anyone that has to go virtually gets the gift of what's going on tonight. So is that okay with everybody? That's how we'll sort of do it. Okay. First of all, apologies. Ted and Julie that belong out on our committee, they couldn't make it tonight and they said, will we please give their apologies, along with numerous phone calls from people that said they couldn't make it tonight but left numbers to help or whatever. So we're setting up a website and that website will be up and running within the next 2 weeks. So I think we're pretty well covered there. Okay, great. Rightio, well first of all we'll ask Jai Rowell, the Liberal member, to explain what the processes are if they've council's bypassed.
Well, good afternoon or early evening to everybody. I first of all want to acknowledge my parliamentary colleague Kate Fairman, the upper house member from the Greens. Thank you for coming. my councillor friends, the Mayor of Wallandilly, Cole Mitchell, my old mate, Robert Kahn, Judith Hennon, former councillor Christine Towndrow. I understand that Michael Manasseh is coming to this meeting, and there may be some other councillors I've missed that I haven't seen in the audience, and for that I apologise. Well, what a great community event you guys have got in just 2 weeks. You guys have certainly made your message Thank you, Sandra, for having us here, and all of the guys at the Shafted Community Committee. Actually met with a number of the guys yesterday that came into the office and certainly put their concerns to me and wanted me to speak today to you a little bit about the process as far as the state government understands it and sees it. We do know that the mine was, that the original shaft was granted some 17, 18 years ago, but now Xstrata are proposing to have an alternative site at Innis Street, and no doubt that's why you're all here today. As it's already been approved, the changes required for the modification to the existing consent will be under state government law, and that's under section 75W of the EP and A Act. So the department to date hasn't received an application, but we understand that one is coming. So it won't go to council, it will come to the state government. Once an application is lodged, it will be determined by the department under delegation unless there are more than 25 objections and or council object, and I suspect there's probably more than 25 people in the room today, so I'd imagine it will be dealt with under the Planning and Assessment Commission. And I guess what I want to give you a little bit about how that works was the Planning Assessment Commission was established under the former government. It consists of a number of experts who must have expertise in at least one of the following fields: planning, architecture, heritage, the environment, urban design, land economics, and there's a whole list of those type of things. You can certainly go onto the PAC website and have a look at how that operates. As it is an independent body, there's no council or state government reps, making it independent of government, and I think that's an important part of the process, given what the former government, I guess perception of the former government may have been in relation to
bit louder, please.
implementing application. Is that better? So, just for those at the back, we'll certainly go to a planning assessment commission because there's 25 people or more that object to it. It consists of independent panel that certainly won't consist of people from the state or local government. So therefore, it is an independent process. And as a result of it being under that process, the department can certainly make a submission to the Planning Assessment Commission, as can the council. The Planning Assessment Commission can also meet with community members, hold a public meeting, take submissions, and then make their determination. My job as your local member is to represent the views of my community to the state government and to the Planning Assessment Commission when an application is lodged. And I just want to see by show of hands who wants the mine shaft? Who doesn't want it? Okay, that's pretty convincing. So I will continue to be in dialogue with Xstrata, with council, and certainly with the community, and I encourage you all to have your say. The process that the state government has, and fundamentally its philosophy is that it's a transparent process and it shouldn't be done behind closed doors. That was certainly the ways of the old days. That's certainly not how this government will operate. And I very much welcome the fact that Kate's here as well from the Upper House, and she can put her perspective from the Greens view on all of that as well. But at the end of the day, my job's here to represent your views. I'll certainly do that, and I'm happy to take questions.
Yeah, in relation to the original application for the mine, do you know if the Thirlmere North mine waste replacement site is actually meeting the requirements of the original?
So I might have to get you a mic because I could only hear part of that question.
We can't hear you either, mate.
Yeah, no, I understand that the acoustics in this place is a little bit off. Is that better? Very off. The microphone.
Get with the mic.
Yeah, that's all right.
And so you ask the question.
I think it's a dodgy mine.
Okay. The original application was in relation to a shaft which was in Bridge Street, which we didn't want anyway in the original application. My main question, though, is in relation to the existing mine. In its original application was the fact that the waste and placement site was not going to meet the requirements of the EPA, etc. I'm not going to go through all the technical stuff. So my question to you, which I'd like you to take to the Minister on behalf of us, is the placement site actually meeting the requirements of the original application?
That's a very good question. Obviously, I don't have all the technical answers today, but I'm happy to take that on notice, take that to the Minister and report back, probably through Sandra, if that's okay.
Any more questions? Is there another question? Any more questions, John?
I've got a question.
Again, thank you very, very much. Obviously, if it does go to a planning assessment commission, which I believe it will, the community will certainly have its ability to have its say, and I'll certainly be encouraging the community and all stakeholders, council and Xstrata, to participate as long as they can in that process. Thank you for having us today.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, that's better? Right, we'll just have to make sure that the speakers hold the mics pretty close to their mouth. Okay, thank you. I forgot to welcome the councillors. Okay, Cole Mitchell, the Mayor, Robert Kahn, Councillor, Jenny Hannon, Councillor, and Michael Banaszak. He'll be here shortly, he's just running a little bit late. So, okay. So there was more questions on that. Next I'd like Helen Hennessy. She's one of the two acting managers from Queen Victoria Gardens to speak on behalf of the Queen Victoria Hospital, and then Christine Towndrone from the RSL. This was a proposal that's, I believe it's not in yet, in the council yet, or not? It is in the council now. A DA has been put in for a 3-stage nursing care to be on the Queen Victoria, we'll call it the Queen Victoria Hospital because that's what we all know it as. So the Queen Victoria Hospital. Now this shaft is the adjoining fence to this project. This project is something that a lot of people have been working on for 20, 30 years. And we don't want this also to jeopardise that project. That project will give us long sustained jobs in the area, not just jobs in the mines, which we are not against the mines, we're not against the jobs, we're not asking anyone to lose their jobs from the mines. We just want things to be appropriate, not something that's a money cost saving venture and to get more coal out. So that's what we're asking for. We don't want this venture in any way to be jeopardised. That gives us jobs in this area for builders, plumbers, electricians, nurses, gardeners, cleaners, a lot of women jobs. So that's what we need in the area. So I'll ask Helen Hennessy to speak on behalf of QV.
Thank you, Sandra. I won't stand behind the podium because I'm a bit short. I'd just like to say on behalf of the CEO, the Deputy CEO and the General Manager of Queen Vic and RSL Life Care, their apologies for not being here due to the short notice and the quick development of the meeting. But they do send their regards to the committee, and they also agree that they don't want the shaft. So that's a message from them. I just want to tell the meeting that the development plans, the immediate development plans for Queen Victoria are attached to the current nursing home. In the short term, there'll be one wing coming out the west side of the nursing home, and in the longer term, within the 4-year range, there'll be another wing going out the east side of the nursing home. At this stage, the long-term development of the land of Queen Victoria is for low care residential retirement, but at this stage there have been no definite plans put forward for the development of the land, but that is the intention of RSL in the long term. I really don't know that I've got very much more to say, apart from reassuring the committee and thanking them for the invitation and letting them know that RSL is definitely against the development or the implementation of shafts. Thank you.
Would you mind standing up just so and yeah.
The answer to both of those, no, I don't quite know exactly how close the shaft is. I do know where our boundaries over are on Bridge Street, and I have to say that nobody has written to RSL Life Care about this development at all.
The question was in relation to notice of development applications. Absolutely. Once there's an application lodged, and from the state government's point of view, there is no application lodged at this point in time, Xstrata will be required to certainly let everybody in the community know. No doubt the Planning Assessment Commission will do that as well, but there is an obligation in relation to that. I think key to this is consultation. I've met with Xstrata as well, and my message to them is that they also need to continue a process of consultation. I think meetings like this today is a very, very important one, but there certainly hasn't been an application lodged yet, and I guess that's why there's no formal notification. But I think it's important that Xstrata do communicate earlier than before an application is lodged. And I do welcome Michael Bonasic in the room. We did acknowledge you before, but you're here now. Very shortly, I actually do have to leave because this was a meeting that was organised at the last minute, obviously because of the late development. I do have another meeting that I need to go to, but I did meet with representatives of your group yesterday, and I assure you that I'll be doing everything that I can to have your voices raised with the Minister next week when I'm in Parliament. In the meantime, if you have any other views that you want to express to me apart from the group that's already seen me, you can certainly email me or contact my office or give us a buzz on the phone. I'm more than happy to arrange a meeting to meet any or all of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. There's about 6 more seats down here. If any, sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry, the lady in the blue. Sorry.
No application lodged. Why is the work starting on the start?
Because they own the land. I think I can probably answer that. Because Xstrata own that 5 acres, they bought that 5 acres. They've said it's a drilling site, an exploration drilling site, and they're able to do that because they own the land.
So they can drill without any form of...
Evidently, yes.
approval.
Yes, because they own the land. No, sorry. Yeah, hold on.
Just a bit short on cord here. Just to answer that question, the drilling is an exploration hole. It's one of many that's been done in this area in the past 3 years, and it's part of our overall exploration program right throughout the Thirlmere Bargo area. So we do have approval from that. It was approved by the Department of Resources and Energy quite a while ago, and it's a separate project or a separate task to the installation of the shaft. We don't have approval for the shaft on that site, and this process is about consulting with the community before we lodge a development application, before we've completed our environmental and community studies. This is very early in the process. Thank you.
Can we just leave some more questions until a little later and just ask for Christine Townsend if she'd like to add something to that, because she's been heavily involved in this with RSL.
Thank you, Sandra. Just a point of... Just a point of clarification, I'm not with RSL. I'm actually the chairman of the Queen Victoria Memorial Home Support Committee. We were formed by, you would remember, Peter Wiebeck. 20 years ago, he held public meetings in the attempt to have the QV site upgraded to a 3-tier nursing home. That is, before the present nursing home was built, having a nursing home, hostel care and self-care on that site. Unfortunately, the state government didn't do anything, and we then fought to have it taken out of the hands of the state government and allocated to a private provider, which, thank God, we've got RSL Life Care, because I've got the plans here, which they've lodged with council, to expand the existing nursing home. And I can't believe that after 20 years I've been on that committee, after all these years we've now got a bloody shaft going next door, pardon my language. And I was a councillor when Thirlmere North was being proposed. It became a commission of inquiry. Mr. Shepherd would remember me well. And we went, and I can't believe Xstrata are going through this exercise once more. It was a huge debacle within the community. We got the Bridge Street Action Group formed a long time ago, and it was a huge shamozzle that the company had to deal with, and here we are doing the same thing again. I can't believe it. And here we are, we've got the nursing home going to be upgraded for the first time in yonks. It's the state government took it over, and we're going to have this next door. And we are totally opposed to it, and you can take that on board. Put in your